Grudges have run through history. Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham. In politics. In sport, the old firm derbies. And of course in boxing, none more so than now. The grandfather of British boxing, Dennis Andries, and the up-and-coming cruiserweight, Terry Dunstan, have a genuine hate for one another. They met for the British title last year, and amidst bitterness and mockery, there were fireworks and a highly controversial outcome.
Has Andries won it at the end? What? No, he's given it to Dunstan. Dunstan is the new champion. Andries can't believe it.
Bitch, that's what you be slapping me like a bitch all night. Slap that bloody head off your shoulder. You will do it every day, baby. Every day.
Sit down. The rematch has just generated further hype and more bad feelings.
Sit down and pack it up.
The press conference to literally sit down for 20 minutes and literally calling me girl, a bitch, I'll slap you, this, that, and the other.
Man picked up a bottle, you know, a weapon to, you know, hit me with it. Like, you know, I'm not going to be sitting down and let no man come and do, you know, hit me, get violent with me like that.
I can understand it from his point of view, an eight-bout boy literally coming in there and literally spanking him.
I was definitely robbed. I don't even remember the referee or what, their friends or what, but, you know, I don't think I know I was robbed.
This far, I'm going to put the ghost to rest.
It's beating time, baby. It's beating time. Let the beatings begin.
We were talking about intensity of feeling ahead of the welterweight meeting. Now, what does that leave the cruiserweight fight?
Well, I can tell you these guys really dislike one another. There's real antipathy towards each other. However, that suits Andries. Andries wants Dunstan to come and have a fight with him. If Dunstan wants to win this fight, he's got to keep him on the end of his long reach, outbox him completely for as long as he can, keep the fight at long range, keep focused. He has a problem with keeping his concentration, and he does fall into having a fisticuffs. If he does that with Andries, he's going to get knocked out. There's no question about that. Andries has got to jump on him from the very beginning. Dunstan's got to keep the fight at long range, but it's really in the balance.
Among the more interested spectators at ringside is the Commonwealth and new WBO Intercontinental Cruiserweight title holder Chris Oko. Had a magnificent start to his professional career. Chris, I know you want to be very close to this one tonight. What are you expecting to happen in there?
Yes, Paul, I'm expecting a very tough fight. Really and truly, I can't pick a winner. I think it'll be very, very entertaining for the viewers on Sky. I believe if Dennis wants to be victorious tonight, he has to start early and take the first 3 or 4 rounds. I believe in the first fight he didn't start too quick, too well, and he let Terry take quite a few of the opening rounds. But I have to sit on the fence with this one, really, Paul, and I'm just going to sit back and watch, and I'll be only too happy to oblige and box the winner.
I understand that you want to fight the winner. Who would you expect that to be? Or who would you prefer?
To be honest with you, I feel confident about either one. I mean, obviously, they're completely different fights. Dennis is a very aggressive pressure fighter, so I'd have to, like, stick and move. Terry is very, is a cute boxer, very sharp, very fast. So that will be a different type of fight for me. But really and truly, Paul, I'd relish boxing either one of them, because, I am the bad man Majab, and I've said before, I am the premier cruiserweight in the division today.
That does ring a bell with me. We'll speak to you again in just a while. Hope very much you're going to enjoy the fight.
Thank you.
Terry Dunstan defending the British Cruiserweight title here tonight against a man who has no intention of collecting his pension just yet.
How old are you?
55 now. Well, would you believe I tell you if I'm 19? I don't even know how old I am. Am I in my 40s? I thought it was my 50s. Come on, man. You trying to cheat me now?
Oh, come on.
Come on. I got 6 grandbabies.
After a sensational British welterweight title fight, Kevin Lushing has won his crown. The East End hero Paul Scrap Iron Ryan will be in the ring in the next half hour or so. But first up, it's the fight for the British Cruiserweight title. And this, too, is a major fight in British terms. Let's hear more from Mike Goodall.
Second of the night. tonight's main events, ladies and gentlemen, is the Cruiserweight Championship of Great Britain. And making his way to the ring, the challenger for the title from Hackney, Dennis Andries.
Well, here is the remarkable Dennis Andries. I must say, I thought it was the end of the road for him when I went to Detroit in 1987 and saw him floored on numerous occasions by Thomas the Hitman Hearns in a world title fight. And we were all saying then, it's the end of the line for Dennis Andries. It was nowhere near the end of the line. He's still going. He's at least 42, but with this fellow, really, well, age is just a matter of negotiation. He's amazing, isn't he, Clem?
He really is, yes. He's a very good professional. I think he lives for the gym, he lives for training. And you're all sure of him giving a very good performance. He's a strong man, very, very good at light heavyweight. I'm not sure whether he's really shone in the cruiserweight division, but he's always going to be a difficult test for any fighter.
Very, very proud man as well. This is his 10th British Championship fight at 2 different weights. A former light heavyweight champion, 3 times the WBC World Light Heavyweight Champion, Andries, and he was in some great fights, notably against the Australian Jeff Harding.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Cruiserweight Champion of Great Britain, Terry Dunstan.
Well, when Dennis Andries turned professional, Terry Dunstan here was just 9 years old, would you believe? But as a novice pro, he went into the ring with Andries first time round and got the decision. A controversial one, it has to be said, up in Glasgow last May. But Dunstan is a fighter with bags of talent. He can dance and jab and move and come in with fast combinations and then get away again. And those are sure to be the tactics tonight against the brawler Andries. Speed and youth on his side. And this is fascinating, a battle of the ages really between these two. Dunstan at least 15 years younger at 27. He holds this title by virtue of that win in Glasgow last May. Andries says he was robbed. Dunstan says he will lay the ghost to rest here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second of tonight's main event on Sky Sports Big Time Boxing, promoted by Frank Warren for Sports Network, is a contest of 12 3-minute rounds to decide the Cruiserweight Championship of Great Britain. Introducing the boxers, firstly in the red corner, wearing the royal blue trunks and coming from Hackney. As a professional, he has had 63 professional contests, 49 wins, 30 by way of KO, with 12 losses and 2 draws. At the official weigh-in, he's scaled 13 stone, 7 1/4 pounds. He's the former Cruiserweight Champion of Great Britain and 3 times light heavyweight champion of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Andries. Across the ring in the blue corner, wearing the green trunks, also coming from Hackney, he is undefeated in 11 contests as a professional, 6 wins by way of KO. He's scaled at 13 stone, 7 1/2 pounds, and comes to the ring tonight as the current Cruiserweight Champion of Great Britain, making the first defence of his title tonight, Terry Dunstan. The officials for this contest appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, the steward in charge, Mr. John Clifford, the timekeeper, Mr. Tom Rice, the referee, Mr. Larry O'Connell from Kent.
Larry O'Connell, the London jewellery expert, the referee, one of our best. And this is a real grudge match. Throughout the build-up, Andries has repeatedly referred to Dunstan as the girl. You probably saw that in the interviews we did building up to the fight. Dunstan will no doubt wish to make him pay for those kind of remarks. Dunstan in the green, Andries in blue. 12 rounds for the British Cruiserweight Championship. Andries looking for revenge and looking to regain the title.
Dunstan, very much the boxer. You've got to expect him to do that, to give Andries plenty of movement, just to keep snaking out that long left lead and just try and pick him off, not get involved in a fight.
Andries with a new trainer for the first time in this contest. Jimmy Tibbs has taken over. Just lost his balance there. Andries, I don't know whether there's a wet patch just by us on this side of the ring, but he almost fell over, Andries.
Yes, I think it was due to him trying to put so much effort into that right hand and missing so wildly.
Of course, always the feeling with Andries that one night he might just get in the ring and the age might catch up with him and there'll be absolutely nothing there. So far, he keeps on defying the logic of the aging process. It's going to be a kind of bull v matador confrontation, this, isn't it, Glenn?
Yes, you've got to expect Dunstan just moving around the ring, and Andries looking for the big punch. He's really tried to load up several times in this round and missed by a long way.
Gets through with a couple of body shots there, though. Andries, that's what he'll be looking to do, close the range on Dunstan, not let Dunstan dominate and use his reach advantage and his extra speed. Sometimes in there, Andries will feel like he's chasing shadows. And that's typical Dunstan. Jab and move. Punch coming from an unusual angle, too. And this is Andries' territory. Close in.
This Andries has to really close the ring down, cut off the corners and try and trap Dunstan in the corners on the ropes and really just try and bull him around, use his power, use his strength.
Almost sniper tactics by Dunstan. Spear in the jab, maybe get in, quick combination, and then away again. Lateral movement as well. Dunstan doing the more impressive work in this opening round, I would say, just wouldn't you, Glenn?
Yes, he's doing a little more. Andries is managing to keep his hands up and catch most of the punches, but more of the work coming from Dunstan.
Stepped it up a little bit in the second half of the round and might have nicked it, and still a bad feeling between them. Bethnal Green, British Cruiserweight title action here, the grudge match between Terry Dunstan and Dennis Andries. A close-ish opening round and real bad feeling again at the end.
Yes, there's still plenty of bad feeling. I think Dunstan probably just did enough. Andries has got to try and speed up a little bit. He's got to get closer, cut the ring up close and just do more work.
Dunstan in his 12th professional fight, Andries in his 64th. Andries in the blue shorts. He's found it hard to get to Dunstan so far, to get in range. Just a little bit bemused and bewildered by the speed of this big cruiserweight Dunstan. Oh, good left hook there on the counter from Andries. That was his best punch so far. And then getting in with the body shots. Now this is where Andries wants Dunstan.
That was caused by a change of styles from Dunstan. All of a sudden he wanted to plant his feet and try and mix it and push Andries back a little bit. And he paid the price there. Caught a solid punch from Andries. One of the faults in Dunstan is his poor guard. He neglects any sort of defense at times, and he can't really afford to do that with a heavy-handed Dennis Andries.
Andries covered that well there. But he's having to eat that jab, as they say in the trade, of Dunstan's. Jimmy Tibbs have been working with Andries, trying to make him slip the jab and roll inside. That hasn't really happened so far. That was a low one from Andries. Dunstan doesn't seem too troubled, considering where it hit him. It was a long way south of the border, that one.
I'm sure Andries will be one to use a few rough tactics if he can get away with it. He's got to try and make Dunstan fight his fight.
Jab gets through again, then a right hand from Dunstan. Blocking quite a few though, Andries. He's getting the gloves up, and there are those body shots as well from him. He's trying to slow Dunstan down with those. It's the best policy.
Yes, again, Dunstan picking him off the jab, but just allowing himself to stand too long, a little too close to Andries. He can't afford to pick up and be hurt by them big body punches that Andries throws. Andries just trying to draw Dunstan in. He wants Dunstan close to him.
Left hook on the side of the head. Have a look at a bit of a slap about it from Andries. You don't mind about that. He dropped to Dunstan. Done it a bit more in this second round. He's had his successes here, Andries. And the body attack is definitely the policy. Interesting. And I'll tell you what, these two, they want to fight in the minutes break as well. More success in that second round there. And I wonder if he might have just taken that on Larry O'Connell's scorecard as we look back at the action again. Good left hook, wasn't it?
That was a good left hook, caused by Dunstan wanting to stand around, wanting to try and change tactics and punch Andries back a little bit. I think he needn't do that. He's got to try and keep to what he does best, and that's movement and the long jab.
The green of the defending champion, 27-year-old Terry Dunstan. The blue of the 42-year-old challenger, Dennis Andries. Amazing that he's actually challenging for a British title at his ripe old age, isn't it? He jokes that he's 55, but I can assure you he isn't. Beginning to make Dunstan miss a little more with the jab and block a few more of them, and that's going to be very important when they tot up the scores in what shapes again as if it might be another tightish fight, Glenn.
Yes, he's got to use the jab, Dunstan. That's his best weapon. It's the weapon he can beat Andries with. We saw Chimek Salita do it very well against Andries, just kept him at the end of the jab, and Dunstan should take note from that. But he just seems to want to get a little bit closer to Andries and attempt to trade it.
Good right to the body from Dunstan. Both of them originally from Hackney, although Dunstan bases himself south of the river these days. Certainly a London derby. Just wonder too with Dunstan how tight he is at this 13 stone 8 weight, because for a fight in Ireland recently he was just over the 14 stone mark.
Yes, that could be a factor if it goes late in the rounds, especially with a strong Andries pushing him back.
Against that, of course, Andries spent most of his career as a light heavyweight, moving up to cruiser, and whether his punches have quite the same effect at this higher weight is another question.
Yes, he hasn't had the success in the cruiserweight division that he had in the light heavyweight division.
Quieter third round. Battle lines are drawn here. With the durability of both men, you would think this might develop into a grueling, tight contest. Good right to the body from Andries. I think he's already maybe just slowed Dunstan down a little bit with these body punches.
Yes, Dunstan standing in centre ring. I think he's trying to get a little bit of power and control the ring from there behind his jab. He's managed to do more of the work in this round.
Not so much on his bike in this round, Dunstan. Very quiet round indeed. That's a good right hand though by Dunstan. His speed got in there right at the end of the round, but it was a quietish round other than that. Green, Terry Dunstan had to take some body shots, but there he is. He likes to clown about, doesn't he?
Yes, he likes to play a few games. He's talented. He has good skills, long and rangy, and really he's got to use what he's got. He can't get too relaxed now with Dennis Andries.
Sitting alongside me is the Commonwealth Cruiserweight champion, Chris Oko, and we're going to grab a word with him a little later on to see how he's reading things. We'll watch another round or so before we do that. Dunstan in the green trunks, remember, much the younger man. Well, everybody's younger than Dennis Andries, certainly in the ring, aren't they? From orthodox to southpaw for just a moment there, Dunstan. Paid for that the last time he tried it.
Andries has got to try and find a way past that long jab. And I think that's the answer. He's got to try and get to the body more. It's easy for Dunstan to move the head, but much harder to get the larger target of the body out of the way.
One illegal blow landed by Andries and hit the back of Dunstan. Andries, who has some good names on his record, like Jeff Harding, Guy Walters, Tony Simpson, Bobby Chairs, Crawford Ashley, J.B. Williamson, from whom he won the WBC World Light Heavyweight title, and that was 10 years ago.
Andries loading up and just giving Dunstan enough time to slip out the corner and away from them big body punches.
Andries will just keep on walking forward, coming at you all the time, trying to close the range, trying to slow Dunstan with those body shots. Dunstan trying to keep him away with the jab. With the glove just then, but not with the elbow that followed it.
Well, he's been around the ring long enough to know just how to rough up a fighter a little bit. He's an experienced fighter.
Right hand gets in from Andries, who early on in his career he just used to be regarded as a big yawn and a bore. People used to yawn at the mention of his name, but he's kind of developed into an elder statesman and cult figure these days.
Yes, I think he's been a great inspiration to a lot of fighters to show what determination can do if you have the will.
He's getting his gloves up quite well. Not all these jabs that Dunstan is landing or throwing are finding their target.
Well, it's been a quiet round for Dunstan. Just a pawing jab, really, not really good effect. So I think Andries just closing the distance down a little there.
Now, we promised you a word with Chris Oko, who's been making a bit of a name for himself in this division with a couple of titles, the Commonwealth title and a win for him as well last week. Now then, Chris, what are you making of developments here so far? Who do you think's on top in this fight?
Right at the moment, Ian, I've given Terry the 3 of the first 4 rounds. He's boxing very well. Dennis has given him far too much room. Terry's working his jab very well, just popping it nicely, giving him a lot of angles. He's got to cut out the theatrics and just get down to business. Dennis has got to close the ring down and cut off the ring corners if he's to be victorious in this fight. But at the moment, I've got Terry ahead.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Yes, it's interesting. It's one of those that might be a shade difficult to score because some referees and judges like this brawling aggression and others like the sweet boxing at range. It's just a question of what fight you're watching of it. What about you, Glenn? How do you see this?
I think it's still pretty much poised. I think Dunstan may well just have a slight lead, but it's still very much poised. But in the last round, Dunstan wasn't getting a great deal of power in his punches. Just flicking the jab out and really just letting Andries get a little bit closer to him. I think he's got to try and stand his ground a little more, but with a solid jab.
There's Glenn's scorecard. He's got it level. It's interesting, you see. Chris Oko seeing it 3 rounds to 1 for Dunstan. Dominate everything behind the jab. Certainly these two have no secrets at all from each other. They've been there together 12 rounds before. I think they both knew the kind of fight the other one would fight. doing the better work in this round, no question of that.
And his leaps in there with that left hook and just made the miss. Good fast reflexes Dunstan has.
At the moment in this round, Andries just not doing enough, not really throwing anything.
No, he's waiting for the jab coming. He's looking to block the punch, and Dunstan managing to get off first.
Andries with a lot of miles on the clock and some grueling battles behind him, but this is a man who's really lived the life. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, trains religiously, goes to bed early. Stays up after the 10 o'clock news. It's a late night for him. Dunstan picking him off a bit though. And there are times in there when Andries looks very crude and he's being outboxed by the busier Dunstan in this round pretty emphatically.
Yes, this is sharper work from Dunstan now. He's just finding his range and just countering him well. Andries just falling short with his own punches.
Somebody in the crowd behind me shouts out to Andries, "Come on, Dennis, you're not doing anything." He is now.
This is really where he's got to try and keep Dunstan. He's got to try and force him in the corner, force him on the rope, and really he needs to up the work rate a little bit. He needs more pressure to score the points. Just giving Dunstan too much room to land that jab. This has been a much clearer round for Dunstan.
He won that very emphatically. It was probably the clearest round yet. In his corner, Arthur Ari on the far side, Howard Rainey in the green, nearest the camera, the trainer. And Dunstan, fight number 12 for him. He's had 2 good wins, the one over Andries and against Michael Murray, who has fought for the British heavyweight title. In fact, Dunstan here in the past has done an awful lot of sparring with Frank Bruno. He worked for him in the build-up to the big fight with Oliver McCall. But I think these days he's decided it's probably not too smart to be doing too much sparring with big-hitting heavyweights, not if you're going anywhere. You don't get knocked around like that, elusive as Dunstan can be.
And this is much better work for Dunstan. You see he's got the movement now nice and loose, and he's just picking Andries off with that jab. Turned his jab into an uppercut there and caught Andries again.
Just toying with Andries a little bit at the moment. This is where Andries needs to get closer to get these body shots in, but when he does that, even Dunstan looking comfortable, bouncing off those ropes, throwing punches from all kinds of angles, and he's befuddling Andries a bit at the moment. The old man of British boxing looking a little confused.
Good counters there, good footwork, just using the angles a little bit, stepped out to the right there and come out that quick right hand counter.
Picked up with headshots as well. Unless Andries can start to find some answers here, things may look very bleak for him. Dunstan is beginning to pull away, I would suggest, on the scorecard. Looking composed, confident and comfortable, Terry Dunstan at the moment. Good right to the body from Andries, but that is a very rare success for him at this stage.
Dunstan's just trying to keep Andries guessing here, stepping off from side to side, not allowing him to get set to throw his own punches, and then picking him off with the jab.
2 good body shots from Andries. He needs a lot more of them. And good elusive skills from Dunstan. He changes the angle. He's dominating at the moment. Driven back again, Andries. I wonder if he is regretting calling Dunstan a girl in the build-up now.
Yes, well, I'm sure this is a frustrating night for Andries. He's just getting picked off. Can't stop the movement from Dunstan. Can't stop that long rangy left jab. And at times just chasing shadows.
Andries does get through there with the uppercut. And then the body shot as well. Well, he had his successes in that round, Andries, but not nearly enough of them. And Dunstan again dominated it behind his jab. He's winning the fight at the moment at the halfway stage. I think there can be little doubt. You might argue about the margin, but certainly in the last 2 or 3 rounds, Dunstan's been the boss. Meanwhile, we have more action to come. There's Paul Scrap Iron Ryan, who's shot to stardom in recent months. That spectacular win over Ross Hale, which gave him the British Light Welterweight Championship. He hopes to fight for the world title in April against Sammy Fuentes, the WBO champion. Tonight, tricky little fight against John Thaxton, who's really up for the job, I can tell you. The 21-year-old from Norwich has looked vulnerable once or twice in the past, so he is a very, very heavy hitter, as Ross Hale found out. That comes up after this one. The British Cruiserweight title fight, round 7. Dennis Andries, the grandfather of British boxing, in the blue trunks. Dunstan in the green, light on his feet, playing the role of the dance master here.
He just seems to have the timing of Andries. Only to slow it down a little bit when really he needs to pick it up.
Andries will keep on working and try to get to him, hope to wear him down in the late stages. This is better from Andries, pulling and brawling his man up against the ropes. Dunstan complaining to the referee. There's no help forthcoming from Larry O'Connell. He sees nothing wrong. Andries will just draw inspiration and encouragement from that. Now this is what Andries wants.
This really, Dunstan can't afford to stand there. I'm sure he could get up if he wanted to, but he's just electing to stay there. Could be more of the psychological tricks from Dunstan.
What the psychology is, because it's given Andries, I think, a bit of encouragement. Maybe he was just taking a breather and he's going to step it up, Dunstan, now. Looks like it, doesn't it? Good right to the body from Dunstan.
There's strange tactics, those from Dunstan. He knows how to win this fight. He's got to use the jab, use his good movement, keep Andries off balance, and will not get on the ropes.
Punch didn't land, only on the gloves of Andries. Andries breathing quite heavily, but he often does that. He loves these extravagant, showboating little gestures, Terry Dunstan. He's in a peculiar fight with Jimmy Bills in Ireland recently, which was more like a comic paper than a professional boxing contest.
Just a little clash of heads there. That's another thing that Dunstan has to be careful of with the shorter Andries.
Gets the gloves up well, Andries. Keep the punches up, says Larry O'Connell to Andries.
Dunstan a little more sloppy in this round. He can't neglect his defense.
Body punches, and again a right, which was low by Andries. He won't worry about that. Starting to rough up Dunstan, and he had more success in that round than for a long time. There was one after the bell as well, but I don't know. That round, I think, was a very close one. It was Andries' best round for a while. Maybe 1 or 2 glimmers of hope, no more than that for Andries in that last round. At least he did get in with the body shots. Jimmy Tibbs, Frank Black there in the background, sending him out. Been in so many of these battles down the years. His 27th championship fight at all levels through from Southern area to world title, Andries. Professional 18 years. Professional in 1978 and first fought for a British title back in 1980 against Bunny Johnson. The year he turned pro, Barry McGuigan was winning his amateur Commonwealth Games gold medal. That's how long ago that was.
Again, Andries trying to pick it up, trying to work hard to the body. But Dunstan, it seems, still controlling the pace of the fight.
At times it's toughish to score because Andries does get the gloves up, and some of those jabs of Dunstan don't get through to the target. Is Dunstan slowing down a bit?
He has done it, certainly in this round a little bit and the last round. Whether it's by choice, whether he's just taking a little breather, he still controls the pace and uses the jab well enough to pick up the points. But it's danger when he stands around too much with Andries, because he does have a bit of power. He is a strong man.
Good left hook from Andries. Gets through to the body as well, and the right uppercut. Just in the last couple of rounds, maybe signs that Dunstan is slowing and Andries is beginning, maybe just, to get to him. Only a minor shift in the mood at the moment.
Big clubbing punches going to the body from Andries. Dunstan just neglected the footwork again. When he neglects that, he then has trouble picking up the punches from Andries. He's got to start moving a bit more, start using that long-range jab.
Dunstan switching, orthodox to southpaw and then back. Very briefly. Andries, though, is a fighter who just does not have a reverse gear. If he does, he's never engaged it.
With the work from Andries as he closes the gap now, and just he looked good in that round. Andries just lots of pressure, kept working to the body.
Just beginning to maybe get back into it a bit. Now let's hear what Chris Oko, the Commonwealth Cruiserweight champion in this division, of course, let's hear what he's making of things. Is Andries making a bit of a comeback? What do you think, Chris?
Yes, definitely. I think the last two rounds he was more aggressive. He pinned Terry on the ropes and he started to bang away, which is exactly what he's got to do. You see, Terry still seems to be beaten to the punch, and he needs to, get back on his feet again, get back on his toes, and start moving. But Dennis is slowly but surely coming back into the fight. But I still got Terry a couple of rounds ahead.
The voice of Chris Oko. There is Andries. Now, there, that was that left hook. Good shot, that one.
Yes, it was a good left hook, and he good work there. Kept working to the body, and it just looks as if Dunstan now starting to tire a bit. He's got to get back to the movement and the jab.
Andries, who's had 63 fights and can tell you how every single one of them ended. He remembers them all. There's Glenn McCrory's scorecard coming up for you. He has Dunstan still in a lead by, that is, a couple of rounds. No more, so it may be within reach of Andries if he can come up with a big finish here. Dunstan's just dropped his work rate a little bit in the last couple of rounds. There he is going southpaw again. Again, a hint of a low blow from Andries. Didn't really find the target. Andries, who very unpretentious, down-to-earth character, was in a lot of wars in the Croc gym in Detroit. Tough, hard battles in there, and once brought his WBC World Championship belt home and took it to a press conference on a tube train. Only a slip by Dunstan, no more than that, not an authentic knockdown. Bit of water in the corner, Larry O'Connell telling the cornerman to try and dry that up.
Yes, just quickly trying to moved to the right there and lost his footing. But better movement now, using the jab, and this is where Andries struggles a little bit.
Dives in with the left of the body, Andries. Just starting to pull Dunstan around a wee bit at close range. Dunstan's giving one or two signs, I think, that he may just be starting to feel the pace.
Yes, it's certainly a shift in the fight because Dunstan now isn't using his leg work as he was. Nice little uppercut there from Dunstan inside.
But happy to just stand in front of Andries, but doing more than him, it must be said, in that interchange. Right hand from Andries on the counter. Seemed to lose his balance for a moment when it landed Dunstan, no more than that. That was a good punch from him. He kind of rode it, Dunstan, to be fair to him. Keep the punches up. Low ones from Dunstan.
But Dunstan's certainly prepared to stand and mix it with Andries now. You wonder whether that's from choice or is he tired?
Having said that, he's mixing him with him pretty well in the round, I think.
Yes, he just seemed to get the better of that. He's very confident, gets up on the rope there for a wave to the crowd. He felt he was getting the better of that exchange at the end and maybe had a bit more strength, and I could maybe agree with him.
Dunstan, a former Matchroom fighter, Barry Hearn's organisation. He was jettisoned when they trimmed their operation. And now under the Frank Warren umbrella. Ranked number 7 by the WBC and 6 by the WBO, Dunstan. Andries, who's number 13 with the WBC at the moment, his old World Championship body, but that was at light heavyweight. And now cruiser, of course.
And there's that good right hand. That was the success he had, but that stunned Dunstan into a little bit more retaliation, and he just seemed to finish off the round. And he's getting everything in that punch, but Dunstan took it very well.
10th round. It does look, for all the world, as if this one will go the distance as their first meeting did in Glasgow last May. Andries was very upset with the decision that night. He thought he'd won it, and in fact last week called for American-style judging of fights in this country with 3 judges. What do you think of that, Glenn?
Well, I think it's always worked well in the past, the English style, and I think, you know, we're not really ready for a change.
Only Larry O'Connell, the referee, will score this one in the traditional British manner. Dunstan getting his jab going again. I'm sure the corner have told him to try to revert to those tactics which were working so well for him earlier on in the fight. She stepped it up again a bit.
Yes, we heard them in the corner saying keep out of the corners and keep using the jab.
Oh, big right hand from Dunstan there. That sent the sweat spraying from Andries' head as it landed.
Yes, and you see he's having success because he's having these little switches in style, just moving from side to side, nice lateral movement, and it's just catching Andries off guard.
I was just wondering whether all that taunting that Andries came up with, calling him a girl, was the old pro's trick of trying to force him to stand and trade toe-to-toe with him, which is Andries' kind of fight, of course.
Yes, I'm sure he didn't want to chase him around the ring. I think Andries is good enough to know that, you know, a mover of that height and reach is going to give him a bit of difficulty, so obviously he wants his man to stand still.
Dunstan's back in control again.
Yes, he's picked the pace up well. He's kept good movement, used his range, long shot, and a beautiful right uppercut there.
Terrific punch that from Dunstan. Both found it quite hard to land really clean, but he gets through with the left hand as well and drives it right through the middle. Good round this one for Dunstan. Just wondered, didn't we, whether maybe his stamina was beginning to go a bit a couple of rounds ago, but he's lifted the tempo up again, and another really good right hand buds through. And that was Dunstan's round emphatically. Now then, let's hear how Barry McGuigan is reading things. Barry.
Ian, I have Dunstan, like you do, I have him well out in front here. Dennis has just not been able to do anything. He's completely subdued Dennis with his fast, accurate punches. His speed is winning this fight for him, and Dennis is beginning to slow down and look the older man. And it was significant in that round that actually Dennis was badly hurt a few times. Seemed to be hurt, not badly hurt, but seemed to be stunned for the first time in the fight. So I think Dunstan's doing very well. You can never write Dennis off, but he's well down at this stage.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, we'd have to agree with that. Terry Dunstan. And what must be a significant points lead, you would think, with 2 rounds to go. This man who was injured in a motorcycle crash in Greece after the last fight with Andries. He injured his shoulder, but obviously back in full working action here, as you can see. Round 11.
Yes, and I think he'll have gotten a lot of confidence in the last round, doesn't he? Did seem to be hurting Andries at times and certainly rocking the head back. So I think he'll want to build on that now. And I think we'll try and see him push forward more.
Good body shots from Dunstan. Dunstan bringing that punch from back behind his back. Really is a bit of a box of tricks, Dunstan. Some were wondering before their first fight whether he had the heart, the bottle to go 12 rounds with a brawler like Andries, who'd seen it all before, but he did. And this time I think he's paced it better. He looks a more mature fighter this time. Andries will never, ever stop trying or stop believing.
Well, he'll be right there to the final bell, trying to land with a big punch. So I don't think Dunstan can ever get too relaxed. He's got to keep doing what he's doing so well, and that plenty movement, using the jab. And now he's starting to hurt Andries and rock that head about more and more.
In the last couple of rounds, he's landed with some very, very solid, meaty head punches. You're right, Glenn, he is. He's rocking Andries' head around. Quite worryingly, in fact.
Andries trying with a few big, hopeful swings there, but Dunstan just a bit too quick at this stage.
Andries won't like hearing it, but it's a fact. He is not the same force at cruiserweight as he was as a light heavy. Of course, in his defense, it has to be said that he's that much older as well. Nobody can go on forever. Not even Dennis Andries.
Well, he's been a remarkable fighter. Proved the critics wrong time and time again. You just feel he's slowing down now.
There can be no dispute he's a long way behind on points. Andries had a brighter spell, maybe around the 7th and 8th, but Dunstan has picked it up again and resumed control, and impressive control too. Talented and durable fighter, Terry Dunstan. His round again, and it's beginning to look like curtains for Dennis Andries, because I don't think he's got the punch to knock Dunstan out, not at this weight.
No, he's looking tired now. He's caught Dunstan with a few big punches, but nothing that's troubled Dunstan at all. And it must be said, he is looking rather tired now, and he's just starting to get very flat-footed. The head's starting to rock back quite ominously from Andries. So it's a good, well-paced out fight so far for Terry Dunstan.
Well, he's looking to use the very natty headline in the Trade Paper Boxing News last week, like an aging bull.
That's the good punches there from Dunstan. He got through with a beautiful right hand, just brought it right up the middle. This, you see it from another angle, just layers back and then brings it right through the middle, catches Andries right on the chin.
Well, golden oldies like Tim Witherspoon, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Azuma Nelson, Joe Buckner have been flying the flag for the veteran brigade, but Andries has found it hard to do that here. The younger man is bossing this one. There might have been a big controversy over the last fight, people seeing it different ways. I thought Andries won it. Here, Dunstan is in a big lead. There surely can be no doubt about that, Glenn.
No, I think I have him 5 rounds ahead, and he's certainly finished the stronger, the more composed. Andries has looked more tired in these final few rounds.
Any disagreement from you, Chris Oko, on that? Dunstan's winning this, isn't he? We'll try and get Chris in just a moment. Dunstan switching from orthodox to southpaw. Left hook as well from Andries. He's trying to finish strongly here. The crowd getting behind him, but it looks too late. Unless he can produce something absolutely sensational. We can have that quick word from Chris Oko. Chris?
Yes, Terry's well ahead. He's boxing clever. Dennis just kept on beating Terry to the punch all the time. He's just got to stay on his feet, and he's going to box to a clear unanimous decision.
Thanks, Chris. Good right hand from Andries. Dunstan would be well advised, you'd think, to get on his toes and keep on working behind his jab. Instead, he elects to trade with Andries, maybe giving the older man a chance he really doesn't have in the fight.
Yes, he can't really afford to change tactics and be careless in this last round. He's well ahead. He was starting to hurt Andries, and now he's standing toe-to-toe and just giving Andries too much of an opportunity in this last round. Again, Andries doing very well, just rolling forward, trying to land heavy punches. But Dunstan come out with a couple of good shots, and Andries looked tired there.
Half a minute coming up of the fight. Andries, give him enormous credit, dredging down deep into his soul to find a last effort to try to turn this around. What an astonishing old warrior he is. Oh, good right hand gets through there from Andries. You just can't quench the fellow's fighting spirit.
No, he said he tried to the very final bell, and he did, and he probably won that last round.
Dunstan is the winner, and this time no complaints from Andries, who gives Larry O'Connell an old-fashioned look. It hurt him, but I think he knows that Terry Dunstan was a clear points winner of that. Dunstan retains his British Cruiserweight title. They don't like each other. Dunstan is trying to go over to talk to Andries there at the end, maybe trying to say some consoling words and say, well, it's all forgotten. They've shared 24 rounds in there now. It doesn't look, does he, Andries, as if he's too keen on a reconciliation exercise.
He did. He gave him a little pat right at the very end. I think he admitted that Dunstan was a good, clear winner. He boxed well. He boxed a lot more mature than he did last time, and it was a good performance from Dunstan.
Yes, he did that well. Clear points winner. Let's hear what the margin was from our MC, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, I sure you agree with me. A very, very hard-fought contest indeed. Well, a nice round of applause for both boxers. Ladies and gentlemen, the referee Larry O'Connell's scorecard at the end of the 12 rounds of boxing reads Dennis Andries 115.5 points, Terry Dunstan 119 points. The winner Cruiserweight champion.
7 rounds to 2 is how he saw it with 3 even. Dunstan retains the British Cruiserweight title. Let's get some reaction from Paul Dempsey, who's up there with Barry McGuigan.
That would be a case, it would appear, of a good young'un in relative terms beating a good old'un. Hesitate before saying it's the last we're ever going to hear of Dennis Andries, but Terry Dunstan is going from strength to strength. That's only his 12th professional fight. He's won them all, and now he's beginning to put a run together as British Cruiserweight.
George, and I'll tell you what, he looked tremendous. His combination punches were brilliant, his angles were great, he used the speed and he stuck to his plan, kept the fight at distance, confused and befuddled Dennis with angles and natural speed won him this fight. Combinations were great and was able to sit down in the trenches in the late rounds and fight with Dennis and come out on top. Dennis tried desperately hard, but in the early rounds loaded up too much and didn't put enough speed and combinations together.
What are the main things that won this fight for Dunstan, apart from the obvious thing about being the younger man?
Well, natural speed and angles and positions, and his plan was to keep the fight, keep Dennis on an angle, keep him keep him off balance, not allow him to load up on his punches, and that's what he done. He done it very effectively.
Thank you, Barry. Let's get back down to ringside, shall we? Gary Norman is talking to the reigning and still British Cruiserweight champion Terry Dunstan.
Well, Terry, there was controversy the first time you met, but you boxed a very, very mature fight there.
Of course. I'll give all respect for Dennis, because there was a lot of people say he's aged, this, that and the other, but I know his game, he's up for it. It's his last chance at a world title, and literally, I knew he was coming for broke.
He was in your face the whole 12 rounds. He's like an immovable object, but you boxed exactly the right fight.
He was in my face, but like I say, one thing my trainer says to me, I'm quality like Thomas Good, my sponsors. I'm quality at its best.
What did you say to Dennis at the end? You went over to the corner. What did you say to him?
Now I've got your respect. Now I've got your respect. He didn't acknowledge me, so as far as I'm concerned, I've got his respect. You know, it's like I say, everybody's building this into a grudge match. I've got no arm against Dennis. I love the geezer, you know.
Now, we know you were a gentleman throughout that.
Of course.
There's a man standing to your right, listening to this, Chris Oko. Now, I'm sure you've got a message for him.
Oh, Chris, so I haven't got no message for him. He just continued doing what he's doing. And, you know, it's just, you know, me and him have to meet sooner or later. Because as far as I'm concerned, he's the baddest slammer jam. I've got no qualms with that. But like I say, he ain't a slammer jam until the DJ plays at his party, and I'm the DJ.
Chris, I'm going to bring you in here. Your retort?
Yeah, first of all, he got it wrong. Mamma jammer, not slammer jammer, Terry. I don't want to write him to you, right? But yeah, Terry boxed very well. Dennis never stopped trying. I think Terry was always that, you know, kept on beating him to the punch, and you know, Terry has proved that he's up there with me, maybe, and providing the money's right and the promoters get it on correctly, then you never know. You might see an all-British unification match in the Cruiserweight division.
We're talking a triple title, all-London domestic clash.
Oh, it's like Tottenham and Arsenal, all London derby. Well, it's not North London, it's South London derby. Croydon versus Vauxhall. But like I say, I don't take nothing away from Oko, Chris. Both of us got literally lodged from Matchroom. And like I say, he's progressed faster than our fault, and better than our fault.
Well, let's hope it can happen.
Of course. And can I say, I'd like to say thank you for Ernie Fossey and to Amanda at Thomas Good, Mr. Riahi and Thomas Good.
It's done. It's done.
Thank you very much. I love you. I love you all.
With Terry Dunstan himself and Oko, just to remind you, have only got 22 professional fights between them, but they've won them all in spectacular fashion.
Indeed, for